on our way to acupuncture, and we'll do it quick because every time I seem to film now it says that my storage is getting full and I've deleted all the videos that I've done so far, so I think my phone's bust or something. But I'm wearing the same dress as I did yesterday because it's so comfortable and I can just lift it up when they do transfer, acupuncture. I've got my orange pants on, I've got my fertility stone on. I put green nail varnish on last time, but it's actually dried out and lost it, whatever, so I can't wear it, but I've put green under my eyes. And yeah, we're going for acupuncture. I've got my earphones because I bought a CD yesterday from Jpouch. It's like a relaxation CD, and if my acupuncturist will let me, I'm going to put the earphones in and just let her stab me or whatever she does, and I'm just going to like zone out and relax and stuff. And Zab's been driving today. And yeah, we called I called the clinic this morning and I said, I know it's probably not protocol for someone to ring in and find out how the embryos are getting on, but I want to know. Have you checked them this morning? She said she checks them at like 7 in the morning, and she said she didn't tell me the numbers or anything. She goes, there's absolutely nothing to worry about. She said you've definitely got some early blastocysts there. So I don't know what the early blastocysts. I don't know if it just means they've just formed into blastocysts or what, but technically it's not 5 days until the afternoon because they didn't fertilise the eggs until Friday afternoon. So if it was the morning, then it's less than 5 days. So hopefully by the afternoon they'll be ready to go. So yeah, yeah. So I'll talk to you later. I'm here at the clinic. I've quickly popped to the toilet. Is where I'm talking to you from. I am about to go upstairs to discuss transfer and things. I'll try and film as much as I can. I've had acupuncture and I feel so sleepy I could just go to sleep. So I did come in here a minute ago and I had a spot of blood there where they had a needle in my forehead. But I'm very calm and relaxed, and I'm looking forward to find out what I've got upstairs waiting for me. Here we are again. Just thought I'd give Zav's perspective. I've just done one in the toilet.
Trying to remain as level and calm as possible. Obviously it's exciting. Try not to get that too excited, you know what I mean? Bye.
Hello. I'm lying down in the room. I've just had let's do it around the room. My pictures were on there. That's just some pictures. I'm lying down after transfer. We decided to put 2 back. Yeah, I'll tell you all about it when I get home because I don't want someone to come in, but it's all done and I'm just lying down for 5-10 minutes. I'm going to go and get my medicine. I need to get my heparin injections, the blood thinner, and yeah, the rest of the progesterone and the pessaries now on the 2-week wait. So how are you feeling?
Are you filming me?
Yeah. I said we'll explain a bit more later, but just in general, like how you feel.
Yeah, you need to frame it better. You need to frame it better. Down a bit. There it is, yeah.
Say anything.
Sorry?
Say anything. Hi, we're happy.
Hi, very happy. We've put 2 in, and
Fingers crossed.
yeah, fingers crossed. I don't want to say I'm excited. I don't want to say I'm hopeful. I don't want to say I'm nervous.
It's in the lap of the gods.
It is. It is.
Talk to you later. Bye. So I'm now on the back seat of the Jeep with my legs up. Zab's driving us home. I must look ridiculous. If someone's looking at the side of the car, they're going to see these 2 feet at the window. I think, oh, what's going on? Look. That's funny. Yeah, so we're just on the way back to the acupuncture clinic. I'm going to have another session before I go home and get into bed and think positive thoughts about pregnancy. Oh, it's so nerve-wracking. Oh, bye.
Hello.
Hello.
This is Cozzy back from the clinic. She's in her little lair, a little domain now, where she will reside for the next week.
Okay, so yeah, I'm in bed, as Zav said. I'm chilling out. I've got everything with me that I need. I just thought, just quickly for this Veda video, I could just I've actually recorded the conversation that we had with the embryologist and the clinic and the consultant, and it will basically give you the reasons why we ended up choosing to have 2 blastocysts transferred. Yeah, I mean, I was initially going to just choose 1, but after the following clip and the following conversation we had, we decided to go with the 2. And yeah, we're happy with our decision, and I'm now just going to rest. But I'll leave you to look at the picture of the 2 embryos and yeah, listen to what we were told and why we made the decision. I'm Poopo, pregnant until proven otherwise. See you later.
Okay.
So I'll just let you know how your embryos are doing.
Okay.
The good news is you've got blastocyst formation. They're all at the early blastocyst stage. Now we can clearly pick the one which is the best at this point, and it's an early blastocyst. They reach blastocyst any time between day 5 and day 6, so it's doing exactly as it should.
Okay.
It's reaching the right stage. Now the query comes, I know I spoke to you on Monday about 1 or 2 embryos back, and we had quite a long discussion about having 1 or the 2 embryos back. Now if this was slightly more expanded and looking absolutely beautiful, it would be clear cut, we would say to you...
wouldn't want to put more than 1 back.
Yeah.
However, if we're not at the stage where we've got fully expanded blastocysts, where they're bigger, they're growing in size, we know that the odds of success are slightly lower. If it was your first fresh treatment cycle, we'd still advise only putting the best one back.
Yeah.
But you've had a fresh abandon, a fresh re-get to collection, embryo transfer, and unfortunately pregnancy doesn't go on.
Yeah.
And the same basically happened with the frozen one.
Yeah.
So you've had twice where we've shown implantation once gone back. On both those occasions, you've then lost the pregnancy.
Yeah.
One part of the story is, well, we know if we put an embryo back, yet getting pregnant, if we put 2 back, more likely to end up with twins.
Yeah.
And that still applies. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you could put 2 back, but I'd be a little bit cautious about it.
Okay.
Would be my advice.
I was really just going to see what you guys thought, depending on what the blastocysts were like. But then you just said that they're not particularly like...
No, it's not that they're not good at all, that we're not talking about them not being good. Now, they're just quite early. What happens is when they form the blastocyst, they go into 2 cell types and they start to then expand. As they expand, we can grade them much more easy. They're much more easy to grade because we can actually visualise the cells a lot better. It's looking like it's going to be a 9 blastocyst, but at this stage, it hasn't expanded enough for us to properly grade it.
Understand.
But as I say to you, they do make blastocysts any time between day 5 and day 6, so it's not unusual that it hasn't. It's just that we can't confidently grade it as well at this stage.
Okay. So how many of the 8, because I know there was a couple of 6 and there was 1 that was 4 and then there was 2 that were... So
you have 4 which have got to the early blastocyst stage, 1 which is at the stage just before that, which is called the morular stage, which is at the bottom of the middle there. And then you have 3 which are at the stage just before that, so the cells are compacting but they haven't quite got to the morular stage. Okay. So they've all continued to develop and they've all done well, which is a good sign. But obviously this one is clearly the best one, but it's just a question as to how you feel about.
So this one we definitely put back.
Yeah.
Back because we said, look, that's clear cut in our mind. That's the leader by miles. It's just, do we pick one of the others to go with it or not? And I would be personally cautious, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The thought process that we had before was, well, it was up to today at least, was in the previous attempts we put 2 in on each occasion, on the fresh one and the frozen ones, and we've only seen 1 sort of take root, as it were.
Yeah.
They were a lot earlier though, weren't they? They were only a few days.
So this attempt, our initial thought before we spoke to you the other day was we would rather risk having twins than having nothing. So by putting 2 it seemed a good idea. However, given Kareen's medical background and condition, I would rather risk nothing, as in I would rather risk not getting pregnant than risk harm to Kareen or potentially...
It's just because I've had my bowel removed, so there's always that extra kind of...
And I accept what you're saying, Joe. I phrase it slightly different. We always have to look at it more to do with the welfare of a child and the risk to a child.
Yeah.
Right.
But there is a greater argument than normal to think about your health here as well.
Yeah.
Yep. Normally we're not having to think about
exactly
as much about mum's health. But if you've had major pelvic surgery and bowel surgery, there would be more of a risk both to you and to a multiple pregnancy in pregnancy-related issues. So I'd be cautious about putting 2 back.
Oh God, it's so difficult, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
it is hard.
Before it was a no-brainer. Before I was just happy just to put 2 because they were at a different stage.
They're earlier stage ones and they're both less likely to take. But we look at the outcome of blastocyst embryos and those who've been pregnant, albeit you lost the pregnancies. We know that the odds of any blastocyst taking is then higher.
Yeah.
You have to remember as well that putting 2-pack, you don't double your chances of getting
No,
pregnant.
that's right, yeah.
You only increase it by a percentage, but the chances of multiple pregnancy then significantly increase.
Oh, yeah.
So you're not doubling your chances and then doubling your risk. You're sort of.
I mean, your odds of getting pregnant from this best blastocyst put about 45-50%. Okay.
Yeah.
If you put 2-pack, it probably goes up to about 60%. But if you put 2-pack, we just expect you to have twins if you get pregnant. More than 1 in 2.
We're going to hopefully look at these 2 freezing as well.
Yeah.
So from I know you probably can't advise us. You can only tell us, and we have to make the decision. I understand, but
What can advise? I'd advise 1.
you'd advise 1.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'd advise 1.
Yeah. I guess I'm just worried that by freezing it, I know you don't know whether it's
Well,
going
we
to
don't know whether we can freeze the others.
Yeah.
They've got to be fully expanded ones to justify
So we
freezing.
can freeze any time between today and tomorrow, so we can keep observing them until tomorrow. Now, with freezing, we freeze the blastocysts in a different way to we freeze cleavage stage embryos. The survival rate of the blastocyst is about 80%, and the pregnancy rate is better, obviously, than the cleavage rate. So you're not looking at the same comparison to a cleavage stage frozen embryo. It is a better freezing cycle, but obviously we can never guarantee survival. We can never guarantee pregnancy with them. So, but we can certainly freeze anything that is suitable.
Yeah. I just feel anxious that if we can't freeze the blastocyst for whatever reason, and I don't get pregnant from this one, let's say. I'm not saying it's going to raise the chances.
You may be wasted, isn't it?
Yeah.
I
And
don't
I accept that argument.
because this is our last funded IVF attempt, and I don't really know that we're going to be able to afford to do any subsequent ones. Maybe a frozen, but a fresh. So hot.
But then if they don't reach blastocyst to freeze, they might not have gone on inside you.
Yeah.
Mm.
But then, no. I don't know why, but half of these, my heart is telling me to put 2 back.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that as well.
I know.
What I'm
But
going to suggest, rather than having an interview committee having a family discussion, it's best we leave you 2 alone for a few minutes.
yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yep.
We don't need a minute to, I think, haven't we?
That's why I said that I can give advice, but I'm not saying no to 2.
Yeah.
If it was your first attempt, I can never say no. I would say that I really don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, because I hear everything you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my normal advice for this overall would be to say, look, go for safety, only put 1 back, but I know that's a lower success rate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well,
If you want to put 2 back, I have to get you to sign a consent
Okay.
form
Yeah, that's
to
fine.
say, look, we've talked this through and there's a risk of multiple pregnancy.
Yeah.
And twins are more prone to premature birth that can harm the child. Because the law says I'm meant to keep a record of this.
My sister had twins and I know how hard it is.
Yeah.
I'm not in any way just.
Come on, you have a chat.
Yeah.
So we'll come back and see you in a couple of minutes.